Welcome to Klopzone HQ, the breaking news show, a twist in the Naby Keita saga. It's me, Ash Wilding. I'm back again. You might have just seen me, but we bring this show every single day now, daily at 12:30 p.m. lunchtime. We thought 9 a.m. might be a bit early for you, so we thought lunchtime, perfect time. I know it's a bit after that now, but we will bring it at that time every single day. Bit of news, last game, obviously, Liverpool 4-1 losers to Napoli. Up next, we've got Wolves. As you can see over here, we've got Wolves Saturday, the 10th of September at 3 p.m. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube, because that's going to get these shows into so many Liverpool fans' hands, and that's what makes a difference for me. It makes a difference for G. It makes a difference for James. But let's get into the breaking news from today. And the big one is Naby Keita. Klopp's basement, hamstring injury. Has he been abducted by aliens? Did they leave him in Naples? We don't know. Well, he didn't even travel, so we know that that didn't happen. But the breaking news is, G, that Naby Keita has been selected for Guinea's national team. Tell me about that.
All right, I'm going to choose my words carefully. So let's put it this way. Either Klopp or the club need to sort it out. I'm not even really looking at Naby Keita, to be honest with you, because the reality is he's in a position whereby if he feels he should have been playing and he isn't, he's going to kick up noise, as we saw with the whole contract situation or non-contract situation. Klopp has obviously come out before and said, that he's injured, which is absolutely fine. If he's injured, of course, he doesn't deserve to play. And as we know with his recent injury history, we can't really trust him. Why is he then being picked for international duty, which is about a month or less than a month away? I find that, very, very weird. So again, there needs to be questions asked as to what is actually going on. Whether it's Klopp and Keita have got an issue amongst themselves, if they do, sort it out, because it's becoming embarrassing. It's coming out in the public, and neither party is looking good here, to be honest with you, both Klopp and Keita. This doesn't make Keita look any better, but it doesn't make Klopp look any better as well, because now he kind of looks like a bit of the silly one now, because he's the one who's come out and said that Naby Keita is injured. First, he didn't know how long the injury was, which I found very, very funny. You are the manager, so I do expect you to know how long your players are injured for, but he didn't. Then he's come out to tell us that he had a serious injury. If he's had a serious injury, I'm confused as to how he can then make squads for international duty. But again, this is the circus at Liverpool Football Club at this current moment in time.
It sure is the circus at Liverpool Football Club. And what we've got, oh God, get him off the screen. What we've got is James Pearce has come out and he has said, Naby Keita, hamstring injury, he is injured. Initially, Klopp came out and said it could be up to November. The internationals happened before then. So something isn't adding up. Naby Keita is not injured, in my opinion. No. There's something bigger going on at the football club that we are unaware of. Otherwise, Guinea would not have selected him for the national team. So we need answers. Maybe we'll get them. Maybe tomorrow we'll find out what else is new. But JamesTheBrain, next bit of news today. Blinky, Didi Haman, he's been saying that Pepin Dash's intensity book is the problem behind Liverpool's form this season. James, it's a big statement saying that Pep Lijnders' intensity book is behind it, but it's distasteful. We should have saw it coming. There are things in there that can help other teams. And the biggest thing of all for me is it makes our mindset so evident. So when teams see that book and read it, they know Liverpool's mindset isn't as mentality monster as once thought.
No, I agree, but I also don't think the book is to blame for lazy players. I think, I started watching the game last night. When it went to 2-0, I turned it off because it was just an absolute shower of shite. And the way with how lazy Trent Alexander-Arnold and Fabinho looked in the build-up to the third goal, it was a simple 1-2. The only two that actually tried to get the ball off of the player was Harvey Elliott and Joe Gomez. Everyone else is standing around scratching their asses going, yeah, somebody else can deal with it. And it's just not good enough anymore.
It isn't good enough, James. I agree with you. G, is the book just another part of the cog that is just not clicking at Liverpool? Is it a big part of it? Should it have happened? Should Pep Lijnders be the first person out the door? What's your opinion on it, G?
To answer your last question, yes. I feel that he has run his course. Yeah, in that regards, a coach is there to coach the players. He's there to improve the players on the coaching field. One of the chapters, for anyone who hasn't read it, which I have, one of the chapters is training is our transfer, which then tells me that if training is our transfer, that means then you and Klopp are there to, and is it Kravitz? I can't pronounce it. That they are there alongside others. There's not just those three, but there are obviously other coaches, goalkeeping coaches and stuff like that. They're there to improve the players. They have not done that for a number of years. So as we've seen with these players, I don't feel like these players have necessarily improved in the last few years. I just feel that the system has allowed them to be as effective as they possibly can, which is obviously amazing and has worked for us. Now, once you reach a peak, you need to understand that as a coach, as a management, and as a staff, as staff members, you need to sit down and be able to see that, okay, what we were doing before, we can't continue doing that. Henderson, James Milner, Thiago, Fabinho, all of these players, they do get older. So their output's not going to be the exact same. So they're going to probably need to change the style of football that they play. Pep has proved, we know that Pep is the one who takes coaching. Klopp is more the overseer on the training field. So Pep is the one who is taking the training, and he's still implementing the same ideas that he was doing 3, 4, 5 years ago, and the team is not actually improving. It's it was at a standstill, and I feel we've reached a standstill, and then we're starting to regress a little bit. The questions need to be asked. I'm not going to blame the book because it's not the book's fault that we're playing poor. That's a lie. It's definitely not the book's fault. So I don't agree with Didi for that one. But as you said, like, things in the book they give people an insight into how a football team works. And remember, we're not a team, let's be honest, we're not a team who play brilliant football or anything like that. So it's nothing to do really with our tactics and stuff like that as to why we're such a great team. We're a great team because we have a great manager who has been able to get the best out of all of these players, literally maximizing his full potential to get the best out of these players. So when you're showing people that the insight into how we think, how we feel, what we do on match days, what we, I don't know, as an example, not to say this was in the book, but what we like to eat, what we like to talk about, how certain players like to bond with other players, all of these things, to another manager who's able to interpret that well, it's another tool which will add to the tool that they're already using, which is analysis and all of these kind of things. So again, coming out with a book was probably the stupidest thing that they could have ever have done, considering you are still currently at the club. Do this in 5-10 years. Then we talk about the, last season. That would have been absolutely fine because, you would have wanted to read about that season, get an insight and things like that. Not whilst you're still playing. It doesn't make any sense. We're still here. So, yeah.
I agree. The verdict is Pep Lijnders burns the book. Yeah, burns the book. We don't want the book anymore. We don't need to read it. We don't want to buy it. So burns the book.
At what point then do Klopp and Lijnders start giving Trent more of a bollocking for his lazy defending? We've seen it. We've seen it time and time again during the games where Trent is stood on the halfway line and the goal's in, and it's like, at what point the problem is because Calvin Ramsey isn't fit yet. Trent is complacent and he's like, well, Sam, my place in the team is secure. And I think now that Joel Matip's back, we might start seeing maybe Joe Gomez to go into right back and Trent being dropped, because I think that's what it needs. I said this the other day. I think at the moment we're a victim of our own success. We had such a long season last season, and it could potentially be taking a toll on the players, but it's still no excuse for the pure laziness of some of the players.
There is no excuse. There's no excuse. There's no excuse for writing a god-awful book as well. So Didi Hamann come out and blames the book. We don't blame the book here at Klopzone. We blame everybody. Klopp, Lindas, the players, Trent. But we'll break that down on our stats show. Make sure you check that one out. Next bit of news, a bit more positive now. Mr. Ben Doak. Amazing sensation in the academy this season. Coming of age, selected for Scotland's under-21 side at just the tender age of 16 years old. Amazing achievement. The future G looks pretty bright for Mr. Ben Doak.
Yeah, listen, look, it doesn't matter what national team you play for. If you're 16 years old and you're going into the under-21s, that's pretty dope. Do you get what I mean? Like, that shows that, one, they have massive confidence in you. Two, they actually do think that you are good enough to actually be there. They're not doing it as like a charity case or anything like that. So yeah, for Ben, this is amazing news for him, like, and him and his family. So congratulations to him, because I can only imagine, I've never been in that position, but I can only imagine what it must be like to be that young and know that I'm only one step away actually from the first team. Do you know what I mean? And we've seen with like players like Kelleher, who have been in the Republic of Ireland first team really before they were in the Liverpool first team. So again, these kind of things can, continue on the right track, keep doing what you're doing. Whatever it is you're doing is working at this current moment in time. Maybe then that might push you even into the Liverpool first team. Who knows? But keep on the right track, bro. And I think you might have a bright career ahead of you.
Follow the yellow brick road. That's what G's saying. Follow that yellow brick road and your career will be on track. Going from one youngster to another, Mr. Cade, Sideshow Bob Gordon, he is back.
That's disrespectful.
Gordon,
as long as he knows that I'm not saying it, I'm okay.
Me and G have nothing to do with this. What Ash says is down to him.
It's hinted. Anyway, at a return to first team football, the rehab's going really well, possibly returning very soon. He's not played much first team football, but anyone returning who has an ounce of talent is a positive at the minute, isn't it, James?
Yeah, definitely. I just hope that when he does come back, I just hope that there isn't the added pressure onto him of him being expected to deliver at such a young age. I think it's great to have him in and around the first team setup, but I don't think it's right that fans put pressure on him to deliver straight away, because he's still got to mature. He's been out for so long. He's not used to the first team football. He needs to be given more time.
I completely agree. I think a little bit more time, but have we got time, G? Time is of the essence. We need him to start performing now, because someone else with a similar haircut and a bit more of a beard, called Mohamed Salah, ain't playing that well at the minute.
And this is it, man. It's a tricky one. Obviously, he's been injured, so I can't be mad at him, so to speak. But the reality is, unfortunately, you're at Liverpool Football Club. So what that means is that you're at a supposable top club. If you're at a top club, you need to kind of get back in, and you kind of need to hit the ground running. Now, I think when he does come back, he won't, because he's going to probably be in the under-21s, obviously to get fitness and stuff like that back, which he needs because he's been out for a little while. But there's been a lot of promise for him, and there's been a lot made about him. When he moved from Derby in the first place, a lot of hype around him, and I was one of the ones who thought, you know what, we've got a player on our hands. But if he comes back in and can't really hit the ground running, we don't even have the time to sit there and worry about what's going to happen with your future, as we've seen with players like Curtis Jones, even players like you talk about, like your Muzalovskis and people of those kind of ilks. There is no time. So if you come back in and you can't really hit that ground running, sorry about that, mate, but we've got better things to be worrying about than your career.
Howdy ho, gotta go. And speaking of howdy ho, gotta go, best till last, the greatest of all time, Loris Karius. Look at those guns. Get on the catwalk, hit the Mr. Olympia stage, but get out of our club. Loris Karius has been linked. Well, he's not even been linked. Newcastle want to bring him in as their backup goalkeeper. James, do Newcastle need their bumps feeling?
I mean, they for some reason have allowed Martin Dubravka to go to Manchester United, which was a bizarre transfer in the first place. I mean, it's only a loan move, but the farewell message that he sent to the Newcastle fans on Instagram, you'd think he'd gone permanently, but you know, like G said on, I think it was G said earlier on in one of the shows earlier on, apart from the Kiev mistake, Karius wasn't a bad keeper for us. He had some positive moments, and I think being back in the Premier League and being at the right club in Newcastle and being under Eddie Howe, I think he could revive his career potentially.
James,
You heard what he said.
did you say revive his career? Look,
Potentially.
there is no revival in that, James. Look at the size of him. The man can't even dive. He's that big anymore. He wants to be a model. He wants to be a bodybuilder, but he's picking up a nice wage just so he's got a comfortable life when he hits the Milan catwalk. It is that simple. Loris Karius, unfortunately, as a goalkeeper, you can't make mistakes like you made in the Champions League final. And as a matter of fact, he's made a pretty good career out of modelling and potentially picking up a nice salary at Liverpool, G. We're too friendly.
We're too friendly, 100%. And again, I also agree with the other part about him staying at Liverpool and stuff like that. But I disagree with you in terms of when you said about he can't revive his career. He can easily revive his career, to be honest with you. I think we're always a bit...
Gee, look at the size, though. He's
his
too
size
big
is
for a
irrelevant.
goal. Too
His
big.
size is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Like, he's a goalkeeper. It's not like he needs to be moving around all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's all right. I think with him, he's gone to like Newcastle, which is going to be a high profile club. Well, is a high profile club, and it's going to be a bit bigger in the future. But maybe you should have gone to like just a quiet team, you know, just somewhere where you can just play your football. No one's going to notice you. You're not in the eye or anything like that. You've gone to Newcastle now, so you're going to need to prove yourself. But I don't think he's as rubbish as people make out. He made a massive mistake, but people have short memories and forget the things that he did leading up to those games to get us to these finals and stuff like that. So let's not forget.
I've not forgotten, but like you should not forget that Mr. Sanucci sponsor Reece Williams got us to the Champions League also.
Yeah,
so let's remember that one. Listen, everyone, Jurgen Klopp's press conference yesterday, the man looks deflated. The man looks like he doesn't know what's wrong at Liverpool. He said it's not a quick fix. Times at Liverpool, G, are a little bit worrying when your manager comes out after the game and says he can't put his finger on what went wrong because there was so much, and all he could do was apologise to the fans.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing now with Klopp is what we're seeing are signs, not to say that it's true, but what we're seeing are signs of a man who's on his last legs, a man who's run out of every idea that he can think of. He doesn't know what to do. You can see it in the players he's picking, the tactics we're using, you know, everything. Now, one thing you mentioned before and something that James mentioned before is about like the performances and stuff like that. I can't blame him for someone playing rubbish. That's the player's fault. But he's culpable for picking these players. He's culpable for playing these players in certain positions. Yes, Trent Alexander-Arnold, for example, has been poor and things like that. He picks Trent Alexander-Arnold every single week. He plays him in these positions. He gives him these roles within the team. So again, we can't praise Klopp, which is what I think all Liverpool fans do and keep forgetting. When we're doing well, everybody praises Klopp. When we're doing badly, you end up getting onto the players. So, it has to stay consistent. If we praise Klopp when we're doing well, we have to criticize him when we're doing poor as well. It can't be just because we're doing badly, it's only the players. No, Klopp it's a 50-50 relationship, players and manager. And at the moment, he is as culpable as the players.
At the moment, he is as culpable as the players, if not slightly more culpable, because we're not seeing any adaptations on the field of play, which may suggest there's a lack of idea from Klopp. There's a lack of tactics from Linders. He's not got the support he needs. And quite frankly, Jurgen could have peaked. But that is the news roundup. Let me go through it one more time. Let me break down the news. Naby Keita, Klopp's basement, Guinea national team, A&E. We don't know where he is. Naby, send her an SOS just to let us know you're okay, because we care about that number 8 shirt, because we want it back. Didi Hamann has come out and he said, you know what? He said, I'm German too.
I'll give it up with the German accent.
This German is good. It's good. Blink has come out and he said that Pep Linders' book is to blame for Liverpool's misfortunes at the minute. But great news, youngster, 16-year-old Ben Doak called up to the Scottish under-21 national side. Amazing achievement. Mr. Cade Gordon himself has hinted at a return from injury. Maybe he could beat Mo Salah in the battle of the hairstyles. Or he could come in at right wing. We don't know. And last but not least, the big man, the beautiful man, the big man, the tattooed goalkeeper, the guy who does not let anything slip through his hands. Loris Karius could be on his way to Newcastle, as they want to bring in a backup goalkeeper, having seen Dubravka leave the club. Fellas, it's been a pleasure. It's been the news roundup. Anything you want to say before we leave?
One thing I do want to ask is, Phil Bidwell put this comment up. If Keita plays for Guinea, surely his career at Liverpool is over. If he's not fit enough to play for Liverpool and he goes and plays for his national team, surely that's it.
If Keita goes to Guinea, all I'll say is, Naby Keita, stay in Guinea, because you're not doing anything at Liverpool anyway. So have a great time over there. Keepin, anything you want to add? Oh, that's me to the end of the show.
Stay tuned for some more Klopzone shows today. Stay tuned for a show that I might be jumping on later on. I'll reveal that later, though. Please,
everybody, stay tuned, because there are more shows to come. We are going to be breaking down potentially. We're not going to say it, actually. I'm not going to say it yet. Just stay tuned. Later today, we're going to bring you some hard-hitting stuff. We're also going to bring you Stat Show tomorrow, as well as Academy Radar, Culture Club, and Ladies Night. So make sure you stay tuned, because this has been Klopzone HQ, a twist in the Keita saga. And as always, we end the show with "You'll Never Walk Alone." Peace.
Peace.